the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandobi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Poleski goes, dives onto the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Poleski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. You know, it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the lap car and around Mills at the same time. At the same time. He's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will clip the grass a little. 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. He missed the complete. He's crazy.
As I said, Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
The home stretch comes into view on the long and arduous road to the Italian roads of fabled Monza. However, first comes a small bump in the road before then. We sit in Canada, across the pond for the 9th round of the CTC Lotus 79 series from the wonderful circuit of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, aka Mosport. Good afternoon, race fans, to the countdown to green with sights firmly set now on consolidation and justification heading towards the end of the year. I am back, Mr. Hashtag Do You Mind Jake Sperry, here taking you through the play-by-play and the nature of one of the fastest circuits in iRacing. As ever, alongside me is the light to the darkness and the ever-gracious Sean Crackers Ambrose. I'm Jed Yarman, who will be on camera duty for this afternoon, as the legendary Dougie the Beard has provided cameras. Sean, Mosport is underrated. Yes, sure, it doesn't have a wide range of different corners, as 7 of the 10 corners are 90-degree left or right, but while it does have a flow of a street circuit, corners like the Moss Hairpin have a lot more emphasis because of the nature. How tough is Mosport on the drivers?
It's really tough, Jake. It's a proper race circuit, as was quoted earlier this week. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, or more commonly known as Mosport, is located in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada. Now, one of the things to point out as we look at the track map is that this 2.5-mile layout that you see on screen is pretty much how this place looked back in 1961 when it opened. Now, it's a rarity nowadays that racetracks aren't altered in some form or fashion to adapt to the demands of modern safety. With that said, the majority of these 10 corners are fast sweepers with lots of elevation change. That means passing opportunities will be at a premium. Moss Corner looks like one of the best on paper, but it really is a risky attempt into there. Expect most of the passes to happen into the S's. Now, the real worry for most of these drivers is Clayton, turn 2. In the real life, the runoff is now paved, meaning it's not as dangerous, but here on the iRacing version, you've still got that grass to the outside. I can almost guarantee you that a few races will end at this blind, scary corner, but to really show you how terrifying it can be, let's head on board with the GSRC Lotus 79 around Mosport.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC Z4, so let's do a lap around Mosport. The front stretch here is relatively short compared to most pit straights, and right away you dive into a pretty fast downhill right-hander. The main worry is not to let the car drift wide, because the grass to the left can easily send the car spinning into the inside wall. Immediately after that, you're thrown into the scary turn 2. A super blind crest with only slippery grass between you and a punishingly close barrier makes it critical to get this one right. Next, drift the car to the left of the track for turn 3. It's an early apex and then the corner opens up on the exit. The normal line will take you over to the right side and you're going to plunge way downhill through turn 4. Only a slight lift to help keep the car to the left and set you up for Moss Corner. With the track raising back up, you can brake super late and still get the car to turn in, which means passes here are flying on a wing and a prayer. But you've got 2 apexes, and the second one is easily the most important. The sooner you get on the power and the less you clobber the curb, the better, because every inch of traction counts since it leads onto the Andretti straight. This is basically the long climb back up to the top of the hill we just plunged down. This is where you see most passes set up, since it's the longest flat-out portion of the circuit. But as if it weren't hard enough to pass elsewhere, it doesn't end in a heavy braking zone. Instead, we enter the S's, and it's possible to go too wide and defend from the outside. If you can hold on into turn 9, the left-hander, you'll switch to the inside. Then finally, you'll sling it through turn 10 and return to the start-finish line where you finished a lap around Mosport.
Not quite looking like a Lotus 79, a little bit beefier than people would imagine. We have a few visa issues getting our Lotus into Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada, so we do apologise for the fact that we don't have a Lotus 79 giving you the lap guide, but either way, there was a lap around the circuit of Mosport. But race details here for today. It's round 9 of 12. So for those who have done all 8 rounds, drop weeks now become a priority. You get 4 for the Drivers' Championship. And now it's about scoring as high as you can and getting rid of those bad results throughout the season. 2 drops only for the teams. The teams are still scrapping it out to get higher points. Today's laps, though, here today, 38 of them. It's a lot of laps, no stops for fuel, and official iRacing points for the Drivers' Championship will be a clear indication of what people need. So, from here, we look at said Drivers' Championship, and Juha Noralampi may be clear at the moment, but a whole host of drivers behind him are gunning for the top seat. Ever consistent, Gerd Hoferer is having a quote-unquote coming-of-age season in second position with Kaya Rucola and Nuno Moreira poised in the wings. Added pressure today on the Preacher, Sean, after a 4th place finish at Summit Point?
Yeah, definitely. You know what? That 4th place was pretty big. But you know what? More in store today here from Mosport. We'll see what he can do. How about we look at the team championship real quick, Jake? And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I will. It certainly is a sight for eyes, shall we say, as Fittipaldi look like they're away with the Ferraris right now. A 28-point gap over Gitanes in second, but crucially, Ferrari and Williams gain ahead of ATS, who had a poor week last time out. ATS, though, here, Sean, some may argue, are very massively overachieving this season. It's a good job from them.
It is. And you know what? We're looking, well, the season's winding down and there's still a lot ahead for them here to achieve. So, I think this bodes well for them coming into next season. Momentum, you want it going from one season to another, and right now they've got it.
They do have the momentum. Drivers, though, in qualifying, 8 minutes, 2 laps. On a second lap, number 1, Gernot Friche is the man known as Mr. Lotus 79. Rounds the final corner. Is P4 currently, needs 2 tenths to gain positions. It's a 107.619. It's just enough to jump ahead of the championship leader, Juha Noralampi, in 4th position, now 3rd for Gernot Friche. Other drivers on laps. Pablo Lambueras just completes his lap in the 10, goes into the 7th row of the grid, but 30 vehicles today here, Sean. This is going to be a cluster.
Yeah, it is. 30 vehicles all running down into Moss. That should be interesting to see. You can't get one through there without destroying the car. Putting 30 of them down there at the same time should be fun. That is provided they all make it through Clayton down into Quebec, and that will be a challenge here. No tire warming on these machines. We do have a slick track, though, today. It's 104 degrees Fahrenheit here, Jake, and clear skies. And I expect that to be a bit of an issue when we get started.
Yeah, clear skies. Oversteer, not a factor. Understeer will be today. Todd Herner in the number 29 machine looks to drag for the line. 1:11.4, the slowest lap time of everyone who set them. In 27th position, 1:11.402. That is everybody across the line. This is how the grid will stand. And surprises, maybe some would say, at pole position. Nuno Moreira, the ever-faithful driver at the front, 1:07.348. He leads the all-dominating Sergio Macias in the front. Gernot Friche will start in 3rd, just ahead of the CTC Championship leader, Juha Noralampi. Steve Bycroft, great qualifying for Bycroft, in 5th position. Juho Reiner will start from 6th. Fabian Gerber, one of the two Gerber brothers there in 7th, with Clear Hughes, the Welshman, in 8th. Gerd Hoferer, 2nd in the championship. Poor qualifying by his standards in 9th. Rounding out the top 10, Martin Blaise.
Okay, and then we go back to 11th. It's going to be Cedric Krolschick, Jill Tell in 12th, 13th, Tobias Gerber, Pablo Lombada Suarez, 14th, 15th. Got to go to Mark Winfield, Kendrick Taylor in 16th, 17th, Thorsten Call, Barry West in 18th, John Stevens, 19th today, and Ben Gillet will start 20th.
And then the final few drivers, then Jeff Van Lejen in 21st, Ben Laughter, ever the faithful man on GSRC Broadcasting, in 22nd, 23rd to Peter Koneshi, Steve Sarles in 24th, Robert Simpkins 25th, before the two Todds, Todd Broker and Todd Herner, 26th and 27th, and then the drivers who failed to set time, Jean-Philippe Bousselan, James Stone and Darrell Henry round out 30 here on this grid. 2 minutes to get up onto said grid, or you start from the dreaded place known as pit road, and 38 laps. A lap will go by in the blink of an eye, but the opportunities will certainly be present at one of the highest overall top speed circuits, on average top speed, here on the iRacing service. So we know that the action is going to be fast. We know that the action is going to be quick, and we know that there is more than one championship to be fighting for. Machias versus Nora Lampe for the overall iRacing Points Championship. Nora Lampe against the likes of Moreira, the likes of Gerd Hoferer and Kyra Rucala, who's not here for this race in terms of the CTC Championship. Everybody has a working way to be fighting for this championship. And you look at a driver like Gernot Friche in 3rd, missed the opening 4 rounds, but will make up his points late in the season to get himself back into play. There at the front, though, is Nuno Moreira. He'll have the inside line into the opening corner, turn number 1, out on circuit, and that's going to be crucial because he needs as much of a chance as he can get into corners like Clayton and Quebec, turns 2 and turns 3. Engine notes, though, start to rise. 38 laps here at Mosport is green and is go and is underway, and it was a late getaway from Gernot Friche on the 2nd row. He gets jumped by Nora Lampe in towards turn number 1. No chance for Moreira to be overtaken by Machias on the run to turn number 2. Go careful here, 2 wide behind. Rayner and Fabian Gerber going at it as they head themselves now in towards the left-hander of 2 to 3 and Quebec, and there is no changes of position behind that. Everyone for the most part is clean right now. Nope, we got one spinner in the back, and that is, I believe, going to be the driver.
Robert Simpkins.
Yeah, Robert Simpkins there, Sean.
Yep, Simpkins got tapped by Steve Sarles there, and Sarles gets through. Simpkins does not.
And that's going to be a shame for Robert Simpkins because he's now got to do all the work from the back. And, well, there's no fast repairs in this one. You've got to fight for it all you're worth. But the draft coming into play for a lot of drivers, 1, 2 and 3. Moreira, Machias, Nora Lampe. Nora Lampe has a little look down to the inside. Only a passing glance against his rival, Sergio Machias, for the iRacing overall points in towards the S's. And White's Corner, the final corner of this 10-corner track, 3.96 kilometres. Gets over the start-finish line, and this is where you start finding the rhythm here, Sean.
Yeah, definitely need to find the rhythm. Ben Laughter got bumped off the track back in Moss. He's back under power. Peter Konesny and Jean-Philippe Bousselan had a close moment coming out of the final turn. They sorted it out.
All sorted, no worries at all. We got battles going on further down the field. This one, Barry West, everyone loves Barry West. He's very much like you'd expect him. Big moustache, always a very interesting character. Runs a little bit wide there through Quebec. Ben Gillet will want to have an opportunity to get past. They make the run to 4 and now to Moss of 5. And you can see how Gillet is just able to run the coattails, unable to really make a move up into that Moss a hairpin. And it's a double apex right as well, Sean. That makes it so difficult, especially when it's off camber as well.
Very difficult indeed, Jake. And very difficult right now is trying to get in the toe with someone in front of you coming up the Andretti straight and trying to make a pass. Ben Gillet not able to get any make any ground up on Barry West there. Now a little bit into the S's here, he closes down as they head for the final turn.
Battle in front of them as well. Pablo Lumbaris against Gilles Tau. Tau in the 20 machine from Club France. against that driver of Pablo Lambueras in the 10 from Club Iberia. So France against the Spanish, going on to a little bit of war of rivalry between the pair of them. Mark Winfield happily sitting behind, waiting for opportunities. Not happening in these early stages here, waiting for mistakes to start to happen here as drivers start slowly pulling out the gaps, like Nuno Moreira, who's almost broken 1 second to Sergio Mastrias. And that's a huge statement of intent in comparison to the 2 machine.
Jake, I know it's in the back of the pack, but a huge battle going on for 20th right now. John Stevens got an angry horde behind him here. Jeff Vangelin, Jean-Philippe Beausoleil, and Peter Konieczny all chasing him. Stevens was able to get a good run out of Moss. It allowed him to get going here up the Andretti Straight and put some distance between them. But behind him, Jeff Vangelin and Beausoleil are going at it now into the S's.
Not gonna quite happen for Beausoleil. Beausoleil unable to send one down to the inside at 9. Just hoping for an opportunity. Wide line taken by Van Nijgen. And that's going to compromise his run through the final corner. No chance of the move then for Jean-Philippe Beausoleil as they make the run to turn number 1 out on circuit. But for the most part, it has been very much line astern racing. Couple of vehicles down on the lane. Robert Simpkins is the only one that we can see at the moment. Steve Bycroft, though, in the 7, putting pressure on Gernot Friche, and this will be surprising to a lot of people. Friche in a battle for 4th, getting a whole lot of slide as he heads through Moss.
Well, again, we talked about the track temperature. It's up to 106 degrees now, Jake. Not surprised. Got a car off in Moss, a couple of them. Kendrick Taylor had trouble. Oh, and now he's off the track. Thorsten Call got into him as he was trying to get through there.
And you can see Thorsten Cole losing a lot of time as well because of the fact that he had to get into that driver of Kendrick Taylor. Taylor was worried about Winfield, gets all over the curb, and Thorsten Cole nowhere to go, tags the rear, and well, that was a lot of miscommunication between the drivers. Not much you can say in that situation that you could do much wrong there, Sean.
Yeah, just, well, things happen in Moss. Let's just leave it at that, okay, Jake?
Things definitely do happen at Moss, and Moss is arguably one of the most difficult areas on the circuit to continuously get correct time and time again. Vehicles slow. That's Thorsten Cole getting all shades of wrong out of 1. In fact, there was contact between Cole and Gillet into Clayton's corner, turn number 2, and somehow Thorsten Cole held on to it.
Gillet wanted that spot, went down to the inside of him, and then made the contact. Kind of pushed him off there, but a great job by Gillet hanging on to it.
Oh, and Pablo Lambueras having a look at Gilles Toe. Toe just holding that position at Moss, and that's the sort of margins you need to be working with. The door firmly shut in that situation there, Sean, as they headed through Moss. And if you don't get the run here down the Mario Andretti straightaway, you are in issues for another lap.
Yeah, it takes a while to get that back, but you know what? Good run here by Suarez. You see him closing down, and then he's got to back out of it, making it through the middle of the S's there. It's all about getting out of this last turn. And not enough of a run there from Pablo.
Not just yet, but he'll keep on working on Gilles Toe. He clearly feels that he is the faster driver out on circuit. Thea Hughes, though, he's under a lot of pressure right now from Martin Blaise. These are the final spots inside the top 10. You can see how Blaise just closes right up to the rear. Thea Hughes through Quebec as now they make the run towards Moss in turn number 5. There's turn number 4, this passing corner, this left-hander. Doesn't normally catch many drivers out, but in towards Moss he goes. A little bit more shallower of a line. It reminds you of the double apex left at Circuit of the Americas in some respects, Sean, because of the fact that you can take many different lines into that corner.
Yeah, you really can. It's which one works best for you. None of them ever seem to work out for me, Jake. Moss, one of my least favorite corners in all of the tracks on iRacing, to be honest.
It certainly is a love-hate relationship with you then, Sean. You can love that corner, but the corner won't love you back. But this is a good full-car train. Hughes, Blaise, you've got Krolschick there and Gerber all hoping to get themselves inside that top 10 for the first time in a while. Well, right now you'd feel Tobias Gerber really not having a good battle in comparison to his brother. He's back at least 6 spots off of him.
Yeah, Fabian seems to be outpacing him just a bit. The times are close, but Fabian obviously a little bit further up the track, and he's got his own little battle going on right now with Juho Reina. The Finn showing a little bit better pace here early, up there in 7th, but here we go. A trip through Moss helps out Gerber just a bit. Gets a good run out of there. He's going to get in the tow here up the Andretti Straight.
And here's the chance against Juho Reina for Fabian Gerber. Gerber moves to the outside of the circuit, meaning he'll have the outside line into 8 of the S's. Turn 9, though, will favour the inside line. And look at this, around the outside goes Fabian Gerber, hoping to take that position away down to the inside for the left-hander, but he's not got it done. The right-hander, though, of the final corner, and Gerber's going to be hung out to dry like yesterday's washing because there's no chance they can hold it. He tries to hold it side by side through 1, but you don't make them happen there. Fabian Gerber, good effort, a 7 out of 10.
Round the outside. It did not work out that time. He's going to have to wait again to make another attack. It was fun to watch, though.
It was very fun to watch between the pair of them. Still, though, behind that, the battle between Hughes and Blaze going on. They're starting to drop Krolschick from the train as well. So the train very much leaving the station, and Blaze having a little look there through 4, not going to be able to make that move on lap 8 of 38. Then on the brakes again into Moss, and he's just trying to find a way to put Clear Hughes out of line to get opportunity. Little wiggle off the exit, though, from Clear Hughes, and this could be a chance to Blaze, but he's got to have a lot of draft help.
Oh, there we go. There's a pass for position down in Moss. Chef Angelin gets around Peter Konechny.
Konechny having a big issue there down at Moss, mainly because there was actually almost contact. That was Jean-Philippe Bousselin getting all shades of sideways, holds up 1, holds up his teammate as well in the form of Ben Gillet. Got a replay up on screen of it, and you will just see here right now, Sean, the fact that you get into Moss, you hope to get a good run off the exit, but he's just too greedy trying to set up that second part of the apex, and then the machine on low downforce really struggles to get back going again.
Yeah, it does. Oh, Steve Sarles with a big moment. Oh, and he got clipped by Ben Laughter.
Oh, and that's the second time Laughter's been involved in an incident here today through turn number 1, just running wide on the exit. Not much you can do there. Clip the curb, and when these vehicles don't like being unsettled because of the ground effect, Steve Sarles gets caught out.
Yeah, and that was all Steve. Fortunate for him, Laughter just gets by. And of course, Jean-Philippe Bousselin with problems.
Yeah, Jean-Philippe Bousselin right now down on pit road. So a look at what's happened with him. And it's in turn number 4. It's a weird place to have an incident. Too aggressive on the curb through there. And that's a massive shunt heading up in towards Moss.
Yeah, it really is. The car gets really light down that hill there, Jake. And certainly in practice, I lost it a few times down there. It's not as easy as maybe we make that out to be sometimes. The car gets a little, it likes to slide through there a bit.
It certainly does like to slide. This is how the race looks. Lap 10 of 38. Nuno Moreira is walking away from Sergio Macias. The gap, 3.3 seconds out on circuit. It's Nora Lampi, championship leader of the CTC, in 3rd. But he's got his own issues right now. Jerno Friche has dropped Steve Bycroft, and Friche now working well in the second half of the stint, you'd feel, of 3 that you normally talk about, getting himself to Juha Nora Lampi. And, well, if you can get past the preacher, then let's say he's a saviour.
Ooh, Gerber. Reina looking on the inside there. Gerber gets it. Yes, he gets it that time.
Oh, lovely jubbly there from Fabian Gerber, making it look so easy there as he gets a lot of overspeed, heads to the outside, and just held so much more committance, lasted the late breakers into the right-hander. Fabian Gerber, now time to chase down Steve Bycroft, who that last lap was 0.3 of a second quicker.
Yeah, good on him, man. That he was able to make it work the 3rd time around, Jake. 3rd time was a charm for him there.
3rd time lucky. Why wouldn't you have that any other way? It doesn't matter how long it takes you, as long as you make that move out on circuit. We still have, though, some fantastic scraps up and down your field as things stand. Of course, We have seen the Gerber battle, but Gilles Taux versus Pablo Lumbueras. Lumbueras not getting the good run, though, out of Moss here to head down the Mario Andretti. And that may be down to a preference choice, because although this is a high top speed circuit, you need a lot of downforce here to get through a lot of those mid-speed corners here today, Sean.
You really do, Jake, and that could be the difference for Suarez right now, because he's able to get him here in the twisty bits, but once they get to the straightaways, he's really losing a lot here to Gilles. Now closing up on him again here out of the final turn.
Closes up, but under the Michelin footbridge and in towards turn number 1 again, and Gilles Taux will just play defense at this stage. He's not catching Tobias Gerber the way that he'd want to. Gerber was quicker on that last lap. Most of that comes down to the fact that he's worrying about that driver behind him as the 4-car scrap just in front. Hughes versus Blaze still going on out on circuit, and Blaze maybe needs to do something out of the ordinary, try a move in a place where a move doesn't normally happen, and the line that he takes, very good for setting up the opening part of the section, but that second half just doesn't seem to open up that second half of Moss Corner, and he needs that to be able to really challenge Hughes. He's got to follow in his tact.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the jump Lear got out of Moss there, and just pulls away and puts him far enough back that he can't get in the toe. And Lear having a really solid drive here so far in the early stages of this race. This battle been going on pretty much since the green flag dropped.
It did, but the only issue for Hughes is he is -1 out on circuit. We haven't seen many changes to position inside your top 10. We've only seen Nora Lampe +1, Friche -1, Gerber +1, Reiner -1, and then you see Hofer +1, Hughes -1. So we haven't seen the big charges through the field that we normally tend to expect out of races in this series today, Sean. Most of that comes down to the fact that very much so everyone has spread out in the early goings.
Yeah, they have. And when you talk about spreading out, how about we talk about the leader real quick? Nuno Moreira. You think maybe he had this one circled on his calendar, Jake?
I think he certainly had it circled on his calendar. The fact that he's used 3 drop weeks already this season, so Nuno Moreira needs some points. Only a 7th place finish last time out at Summit Point. You feel he has something to prove right now.
Oh, big trouble. Big trouble down in Moss, Gillet, Konechny, and Van Aertlen.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's a vehicle on its anti-roll bar there. That's Ben Gillet, so they all check up. Gillet just clips the front and goes just careening into the wall. Ben Gillet, wow. I don't normally expect to see vehicles flip at slow speeds like that, but Ben Gillet, he will be shaken by that incident.
Ben gets the hashtag Send It award today. He just sends it right into Moss there, and he pays for it. Oh, look at that.
He certainly does, and if you bought it, you buy it. So he will certainly be paying for the damages after this event is scored as complete in the books. Hughes, though, again under pressure from the driver of Martin Blaze, and Blaze gets a better run than what he's previously had last time, but the difference is Hughes has really set that vehicle up for acceleration more rather than top speed.
You know, going back to the back, just took over 20th position, Ben Laughter, one of our Camel GT guys, actually, that we see on Saturdays. Ben having a bit of a recovery drive. He's been in 2 incidents already, but he does manage to get around Jeff Van Allen after that, and now getting to work on Konechny, who is the next position in front of him, only about 1.7 seconds.
1.7 seconds to Konechny, so there's a lot of work for Ben Laughter to keep moving forward in this event. Vehicles out also includes Todd Broker in this event, but this is a 3-car scrap I'm looking at. Mark Winfield, Barry West, Thorsten Kahl, all these drivers looking to make some form of impact. Kahl, we've seen what's been documented of him today. He's been in the wars a little bit. Thorsten Kahl now looking to try and get past Barry West, and Barry won't make that happen too often.
Fabian Gerber with a big problem out of Moss. Yeah, no is right. Wow. He just misses. He misses the line through here and slides off course, and boy, a real tank slapper.
It's not even that he missed the line, he just gets too greedy on the power coming out of the exit, and he pays the price. And I say this very faintly, This is no Hillman Tilke design. You don't have an acre to work with of concrete to save your vehicle. You've got however much space there is between the walls, and he paid the price heavily.
He did. That's going to be an ender for him, unfortunately.
And everybody moves up another position. Everybody gets a little bit more safe inside that top 10. And Fabian Gerber will be frustrated at the way that he has lost himself a chance of getting into this race. It means now that the Hughes Blaze battle is now for 8th position and not for 9th and 10th. So that means that Cedric Krolczyk moves up inside that top 10. Happy now with brother Tobias Gerber just behind him as well. Blaze again having a little bit of a look in towards Moss, and again just unable to really answer the call to clear Hughes. And Hughes again able to just pull away as they head themselves down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Sergio Macias though, he's cleared the traffic right now of Todd Herner. But now Nora Lampi and Friche have to deal with Todd Herner. And this is a nightmare for traffic because you hate going out of your rhythm at this circuit.
They're not catching him in a particularly good spot on track here.
Oh, he's got one. And Friche does well to make that two. That's good work actually from the traffic. It's difficult at turn 2.
It really is. And they did a good job of clearing that. As they get ready to set up and head down into Moss, I am going to jump off real quick, get on Facebook, and I'm going to check in safe from Moss Corner, okay? Just want to let everybody know I'm safe.
Yeah, well, you're safe, that's good. I'm safe, that's good. I think about 6 or 7 others, though, will be casualties in this event. And, well, right now, what you'd have to say in this situation, it comes down to about now managing the second half of the race. We're heading to halfway in about 2 laps' time, and in this opening section, it's about finding out who your battles are. In this second section, it's about now getting yourself into these right situations. And Barry West has a big slide into Moss Corner, sorts it out, gets himself going again. Carl unable to capitalise. Well, Sean, what you have to say in this situation is Thorsten Carl is trying, but Barry West dirty good in the middle of this sandwich right now.
He is, Barry. Barry looks comfortable right now. Maybe not uneasy, but maybe just comfortable enough. I'm still checking in on Ben Laughter. Guess what? He's gotten to Peter Konieczny. It's another spot for him. Konieczny just in front of him there. Now, Konieczny's up 5 spots himself, so Peter's done a good job of kind of working through some of this traffic here in the back and slotting himself within the top 20. But Laughter showing up here, kind of a stranger to the series. Oh, trouble for Barry.
West. Oh, that's at turn 2, and he's up on his roll hoop as well. A big shunt for the Bristolian, Barry West. And well, he heads himself into turn number 2. He just gets caught on that outside track, wheels on the grass, and it's just downhill from there. Yeah. Can't really survive into what is a plethora of tyres on the barrier, and Barry West now out of the event.
Yeah, it's so hard to recover from that when you get out to the right there.
And Konieczny running into troubles as well as we just turned away. And he was in that battle with Ben Laughter. Same corner, same incident. The marshals would have had to have scampered out of the way because that was an oversteer moment, a correction. And after that correction, nowhere to go.
I didn't expect so much attrition here. I expected some trouble, but not attrition. And we've seen plenty of it here early.
We certainly have. And it means we're down to just 21 runners. Or 23 runners as we stand, 21 on the leading lap right now. And, well, it's been Nuno Moreira, 5.1 now. He is classing the field right now. Sergio Macias, normally an easy driver normally a driver who finds it easy to break away. He's been put in his place for the first time in a very long time. I've never seen Sergio Macias just not be able to find an answer at a racetrack.
That's true. I'm not as familiar with him as you are, but since we've seen him show up here this season, he's been awful dominant every time he's been on the track, and Nuno seems to just really have the edge on him here today.
Nuno Moreira certainly has, but the gap comes down because of the lap traffic that Moreira had to deal with, down to 4.6. That was 0.4 of a second chalked off on that lap. But this is the thing, one wrong move at this circuit, and your race could be over. You do not have the chance to just sit and relax and wait, especially with traffic that comes into play, especially with drivers trying everything to keep themselves in this event. Still the battle between Blaze and Hughes. This has been going on all race long, and Martin Blaze working well through the sweeping SS sections.
Yeah, I'm convinced Blaze is his only opportunity is a mistake from Lear. He hasn't really shown any ability to make a good solid run at him to get around. Now, a little bit of traffic coming into play here. Todd Herner in the way, down into Moss.
Oh, and off goes Blaze. Oh, that's a heavy oversteer moment.
Boy.
And a solid run into the concrete. And again, he just clipped the curb coming down in. Vehicle unsettled, tries to hit the brakes. The vehicle wants to start pointing left, and he smacks the heavy concrete wall. And Martin Blaze is out from 9th position.
Out, period. Down into the pit lane already. Jeez. Hate that for me. It's such a great battle going with Lear.
Did, and well, sometimes...
And then I cursed him. It's me. It's on me. I take it.
Sean, you are the reason why we can't have nice things anymore.
I know. I'm sorry, Jake.
It's all right. We've still got, though, half a race to have something really interesting happen between now and the end of this event. And Journo Friche now trying to find way past traffic. That's James Stone being a little bit of a walking chicane here in towards the right-hander. And again on the exit, not giving enough room for Journo Friche. Difficult to control as we've seen today, but James Stone there probably cost Journo Friche about 1.5 seconds on that section of track alone.
Jake, one of my favorite in-sim texts I've ever seen. I'm lapping you. Please move. So
yes.
That's good. Nothing subtle about that.
Nothing to... I am lapping you. Please get out of my way. If you don't, there will be words. And it reminds you of Sebastian Buemi in the Formula E Championship after the final round, where he went to almost every single driver, Sean, and just gave out words to everyone. Oh, well. That's one way of working it. Thorsten Powell versus Mark Winfield. Battle for 13th now. 0.5 seconds.
There's a battle. Yes, that is a good one. This race becoming a little bereft of battles right now, and Mark Winfield trying to keep the edge here on Thorsten Kahl. Kahl has, I would say he's had an exciting race.
But I tell you what, all these instants makes very, very big looking for the team's championship, and everyone looking to score those points. Mosport will not allow you to take many points with only 2 drop weeks for teams. You feel that Mosport may have to be one of them for about half the field here today.
It looks like Winfield getting the best of it right now, Jake.
Well, he certainly is. He's got the traffic, though, of Todd Herner to deal with as he heads into Moss, so he may get the chance to get the run off of the exit. He does, and that's going to mean he's going to get all of the draft. Mark Winfield will be very happy at the fact that he'll be able to close this one down. Thorsten Kahl will get the double draft, and as such, gain a little bit more toe as well. So move across 1, move across 2, and Thorsten Kahl again bringing that gap back down to within 0.2 of a second as he heads into the right-hander. And just look at the speed Winfield is able to just carry more than Thorsten Kahl.
And the person really concerned has got to be Suarez up there just in front of him, Jake. They are catching him. These two are stronger than the one. That will be a battle for 12th when they get there.
It will. That was another 0.4 of a second taken out of Pablo Lumbueras on that last lap. Brings the gap down to 1.8 between the two of them, and that 1.8 seconds will mean a lot come the end of this race. We're on lap 23 of 38, 15 laps to go here in this event, and well, actually, we got a lap down battle going on. James Stone against Steve Sarles, 19th and 20th. Here comes Sarles down to the inside at the Mario Andretti straight away. And well, into 8th here he comes along. Little bit wiggly, but he gets it done. No troubles at all.
Yeah, good job there by Steve. Getting around. Putting himself up in a 19th. He didn't have a very good qualifying effort, and he's had to put in a lot of work just to get to 19th. Yeah, thinking about qualifying, Jared Hofer, he's sitting by himself right now, all alone in 7th. Boy, a better qualifying effort. What could have been for him today? His pace is strong, Jake, but the 9th place quali, really, really hurting him here.
And I tell you what would be more frustrating for him is the fact that we haven't seen too many incidents for the mainstay drivers at the top.
Oh, Reiner.
Oh,
Reiner with big trouble.
Oh, no, and that's out of Quebec. So turn number 3, he gets himself all over the curb on the exit. Just clips the grass. That's just that extended rear tyre. It's a lot bigger than the small and skinny fronts. He manages to get away with it, doesn't clip the walls, and in fact, he has another off actually at Moss. So Reiner completely out of sync now.
Yeah, it really, really is. And once you know, this is a rhythm track, Jake, and once you lose it, it's really hard to get it back.
And you'll see it on replay right now here, Sean. He just gets up into Moss and just carries too much pace. He keeps it going even on the dirty mud section, but he gets away with one. But now he's under pressure. Cedric Krolczyk now just behind. Battle going on 8th and 9th. You just don't know where you can look from time to time. P3 shaping up right now as Nora Lampi has been closed again by Gernot Friche. Number 1, a former champion, a driver who just again and again proves that he is always there or thereabouts. Gernot Friche closing down Nora Lampi here, Sean, and you feel Gernot Friche has got to keep that within a second.
Got to. Well, listen, it's been back and forth all race for them. Gernot keeps trying to get what was lost back, and well, we'll see here. There's still time to get it done. 13 laps to go.
13 laps of action, so that's 13 opportunities around this circuit. And while this race is going a lot quicker than some of the other races go from time to time, and now Gernot Friche through turn number 2 of Clayton's Corner, not as aggressive there with his line as Nora Lampi was, and into turn number 3 he slightly misses the apex, so has to back off of it very slightly. So Friche not as clinical as Nora Lampi, and Nora Lampi very much a robotic figure right now as he just aces almost every corner.
You know, Juho Reiner, Cedric Krolczyk, after Reiner's trouble there, now he's got to worry about that. Krolczyk is hunting him down here. Lear Hughes has managed to get away from all that mess.
He certainly did, and Lear Hughes will be happy at the fact that he's now up into 7th position, 3 seconds behind Jerd Hoferer down the road, but still, you feel that Krolczyk has to work hard against Juho Reiner. Reiner maybe being ahead a little bit more has the pace, but how much wear has actually been taken out of the tyres because of that spin and going off as well? It's going to take him a couple of laps to get back into his rhythm, and Juho Reiner now will be hoping that he puts himself in a good situation right now here, Sean, just to stay stable between now and the end of the event.
Scanning around, looking for any really good battles left. Obviously, Gernot Friche still just trying to get that spot back from Juha Nora Lampi and just can't seem to make up any time here on track.
No, he can't. Darrell Henry, though, will be a little bit of help as he gets out of the way before the braking zone. That will give a bit of draft to Friche as he closes down against Juha Nora Lampi, the championship leader. And Gernot Friche may hold the championship in his hands at this stage as he has races that he needs to use. Moreira has races that he needs to use, and he knows he's got to get past Nora Lampi, score points against him, as Nora Lampi now is just trying to consolidate, get the 1 or 2 points left in the championship, because he can't take any further points away in other circumstances. So into the right-hander they go of Quebec Corner, turn number 3, the run to Moss through the difficult turn number 4, the underestimated turn number 4, and now up to 5 and 6 of Moss. And you can see Nora Lampi just maintaining figure at this stage. You can see just how shallow Gernot Friche was through that corner.
Yeah, I'm still keeping an eye here on Juho Reiner and Cedric Krolczyk. It's Finland and France going at it, and you know, I think Cedric's really got a chance here to pick up this spot from Juho Yuho's had his share of trouble here, and Cedric is just not giving up. Keeps digging at him.
Not giving up, but look at the times though, Sean.
Yeah,
6 tenths of a second. I think it's more Reiner closing down Clear Hughes in this situation. I think Clear Hughes will be the man who's most worried in the battle for 7th position. I think that's where your battle is. Looking at that one, it's more than meets the eye.
Well, we've hit the magic number, 10. 10 left to go.
10. And one Canadian that certainly is a reminder of 10 is WWE superstar Ty Dillinger, whose entire gimmick is 10. So 10 laps to go, 10 chances left at making overtakes. But it seems that there is one consistent factor. That is Nuno Moreira just doing a fantastic job of holding himself in some very good stead. Sergio Macias, he's had good pace, 1:08.4, his quickest lap time of the day, but Moreira has just been one step ahead of him at every single step of the way here today. And right now you'd have to say it's more a battle for the podium spots than it is now a battle for the race lead.
Jake, 30 laps into this race here in Canada, and I don't think I've heard anybody say I'm sorry to one another.
I think there's been a lot of I'm sorry's to the Wolves, and I think the Wolves come back and say I'm sorry for the attrition rate, but we're not sorry for the amount of battles that we've had. We are not sorry for some great action that we have seen today, even though it has been a little bit few and far between. And, well, Krolschick has run into issues. Krolschick out of the event. Let's get a look at what has happened with Cedric Krolschick. Out of 3, run to 4. It looked like he was very, very tentative off the end, and that is a very weird place to have him. In fact, no, it was contact at Quebec. I believe around when James Stone, he lost it, and there was nowhere that the driver of Krolschick could have gone there here, Sean.
I'm going to take that. It's on me. It's all right, Cedric. You've been forgiven. I'm sorry. There you go. I said it.
It's on you again. And oh, dear. But we still got Reiner versus Hughes closing down. We still got Prix versus Nora Lampe, and vehicle off on the side of the road there between those two. That was Todd Herner. Todd Herner pulls over, is out. That's an instant at the final corner on his own, and that was just getting a wiggle of oversteer off the exit, trying to correct it, overcorrection, and into the hard concrete wall.
Now, our leader is coming up on Ben Laughter. Laughter, who's had an exciting race to say the least, has now worked himself into 15th. I remember when we were talking about him just getting into the top 20.
Keeping it on the island seems like the best possible opportunity for some drivers to score massive points. And if you're running into issues, the island is the best home for you to be staying on the tarmac. That's where everyone wants to be. Prix, though, 108.5 against 108.5 against Nora Lampe, championship leader in the CTC as things stand. And, well, right now, Juha Nora Lampe under a lot of pressure from Prix. It's not as close as 2 tenths. It's not that immediate pressure, but it's the I can't make a mistake pressure that he is now subject to. Half a second between those two for 3 and 4.
Jake, I think you were all over it with that observation on Juho Reiner catching Lear Hughes. That's going to come to a head here quick, because Juho's done nothing but continue to reel him in. We'll check the times as they come across the line here. Expect to see another 8 to 9 tenths picked up.
And, well, 109.5 meets a 109.5.
Wow.
Hughes actually responds there and keeps the gap even at 8 tenths of a second. He sees the threat and decides, I've got to run at a pace that cannot be matched in this situation. Very interesting. Also interesting, 3-car scrap out on circuit now. Toe, Suarez, and Cowell, or shall I say Pablo Lumbueras against Cowell as well. And these 3, well, Gilles Toe broke away from Suarez. Suarez is coming straight back at him.
He certainly is. By the way, I think I'm getting out of the prediction business. I'm officially retiring, pulling my shingle in and retiring from it. Look at Suarez making up the ground there in Moss. Can he hang on to it here and get a better exit? No. Get it to Gilles Toe.
Gilles Toe doing a good job. Pablo Lumbueras now will be under pressure from Thorsten Karl down the Mario Andretti straightaway. This may not be IndyCar, but this will certainly be a big battle for these three, fighting for what it is now 10th, 11th and 12th positions overall on circuit into turn number 8, now turn number 9 of the S's, and the final corner of turn 10. Tobias Gerber in front of them as well. They will have to negotiate potentially if they reel him in enough. The gap there is 2.4 seconds, so Tobias Gerber keeping himself afloat, and here comes Thorsten Karl here trying to get himself a run into Clayton's. That's not a place you make a move.
Suarez seems to be struggling just a bit now all of a sudden. You saw him back when they were on Andretti. He was side to side trying to break the draft to Thorsten Karl. Karl seems to really have reeled him in, and this could get exciting here as they get down into Moss.
It certainly could, but I want to look at Friche Nora Lampe, because Gernot Friche suddenly has the gap at 4/10. Not a good run from turn number 1, though, for the Austrian. And that's going to mean that Gernot Friche now has work to do. He gets all over the curb through turn number 2. He clips the grass, gets away with one. Gernot Friche, the cat has 9 lives, and there was 5 used.
I'll get a replay of it here, Jake.
Oh my goodness, I thought it was game over. See, he just clips the grass. It's not much, but it's just enough to worry people as you go on forward. And well, right now, vehicle pulling off to the side in the tow battle.
Steve Sarles
and lap traffic there, just letting everybody through, keeping out of the way. But right now, not long to go. It's 3 to go for your race leader when he crosses the line, Nuno Moreira, behind this group of cars.
Good on Steve to get out of the way of that battle. It's a good one. Still being led by Gilles Taux, though.
Definitely still being led by Gilles Taux. 3 to go then for drivers crossing the line, and Nora Lampe will be happy that he's got that gap opened up again as he crosses the line. The gap extends to 9/10 of a second. That's enough for Nora Lampe to feel comfortable in this situation, you'd feel, in comparison to Gernot Friche. Never say never at Mosport, though. Anything is possible right now. Karl closing down that gap then to the driver of Pablo Lambueras. Lambueras will have to go defensive or try and stay within that toe. Double toe to the inside tries Karl, and Karl not close enough. Well. Karl had a chance. Is that the only chance, though? He's catching Lambueras out at that Moss corner because he knows that he's slow off the exit. He knows that he's got a lot to work on. And look at that, how wide Lambueras goes. He's visibly affected by this. Karl is just heaping on the pressure.
John Stevens starting to feel some pressure on his 14th spot. Ben Lafter has gotten there. Sergio Macias just got through them. Kind of brought this battle a little bit closer together. Lafter looking to get another spot. One of our real big movers in the race.
He certainly has been. Darrell Henry, another one just behind him as well. No changes then in this little scrap going on towards the rear for Gernot Friche. He's running out of road. 1.3 seconds now, the gap. And there is a lot of traffic in front. It's the Lafter Stevens traffic that Nora Lampe is going to have to deal with. But it's 2 to go now when they cross the line for Nuno Moreira. And you have to say, it's been a Nuno Moreira show. We haven't needed to show much of him, but he's been fantastic.
He has, Jake. It's been an incredible drive. Flawless. Car looks good, clean. Looks like a car that's been up front all day, to be honest with you. And it has. And boy, again, I just can't help but to think Nuno had this one circled. He was ready to go. And kind of wanted to make a statement here as we head down the stretch of this season.
Clear Hughes, you'd feel it's safe from Juho Reiner. Reiner had a poor lap, or a poor couple of laps, in comparison to Clear Hughes, who is running the fastest laps of his event so far. So Reiner unable to do much more in this situation to keep himself in play in the battles that we have. But heavy traffic for Nora Lampe as he tries to get past Ben Lafter. And this is the big worry that he's got right now here, Sean.
Yep, this is this really nice. Got some good drivers were coming through here, so they'll stay out of the way. Still got to be concerned. Mistakes can happen.
And Ben Laughter not letting through Journo Friche at Moss, and there wasn't really room to make that happen. Friche had to hit the brakes heading into that turn number 4 section because he wasn't sure if Laughter was going to lose the vehicle or not. That gives Nora Lampe the chance to run away, but to Nuno Moreira, the white flag now will be out. One final lap here at Mosport, and for many drivers here today, they will feel that it is about safety, getting yourself home, hoping that there is no chance that you can get away, and hope you hit the bed. Carl Suarez toe. Close, but not too close in this situation, as they have a lap to go, a lap and a half to go. And Sean, I know you're umming and ahhing over something.
Yeah,
Steve Stevens, isn't it?
No, it was Stevens. Yeah, Stevens had trouble letting Journo by, and he runs off wide, and that was a battle between him and Ben Laughter there.
It was, and well, Journo Friche now not really close enough to Nora Lampe to do anything at this late stage of the event, but we turn to the number 5 machine with just 3 corners to go, down the Mario Andretti straightaway into the S's, and it has been absolute perfection today from a driver who has spluttered and stalled a little bit during this season, but welcome back to the top of the step, Nuno Moreira. He wins at the circuit of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in decimating, dominating fashion. Machias will be happy with second. He cuts his losses for today. Juha Nora Lampe takes the final stage of the podium, although he loses time in the iRacing battle, the CTC battle. He takes on most of his rivals for this one. Still, though, you've got the likes of this one. Gerber, Toe, Suarez, Carl. In fact, no, it's more Suarez, Toe, and Toe probably safe from here, Sean.
Probably. We'll see. He's still got to get through the S's here. Suarez been fighting so hard this whole race. The top 10 is in sight.
And there's traffic for Tobias Gerber to be dealing with right now in the form of Jeff Vanagen. They get around Vanagen, or shall I say Tobias Gerber gets around Vanagen nicely into the final 2 corners. Just leave it home. Big power move attempt from Pablo Lumbreras, but he's too far back. He attempted it. It was guts and glory, but he forgot the glory part there. Good job, though, from Pablo Lumbreras, up 3 positions overall. But by this point, we're going to step aside for just one moment. When we come back, a post-race show, or the post-race show from the Classic Lotus Championship here, or shall we say the Classic Teams Championship, CTC. Lotus 79s have been amazing yet again. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CTC Lotus 79 series here from Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. The race is over. The race, some say, may have been a little bit more drawn out than people would have liked, but you can't say it wasn't bereft of entertainment. And this is how everything ended after 43 minutes and 33 seconds worth of action. And it was all Nuno Moreira. He wins by 8 seconds over Sergio Macias, the all-dominating Sergio Macias, put in his place for one of the first times this season. Here in second position overall, Juhan Oralampi will finish in third ahead of Gernot Frisch. Steve Bycroft will come home in fifth position ahead of Gerd Hoferer, who would feel that he lost positions in the championship with a sixth place today. Clear Hughes coming home in seventh, the Welshman, with Juho Reiner, Tobias Gerber, and Gilles Toe rounding out the top 10.
All right, down into 11th, it's going to be Pablo Suarez, who did make a valiant effort there on the last lap to get it. Thorsten Kahl, 12th. Mark Winfield, 13th. Ben Laughter, 14th. John Stevens, 15th. Daryl Henry, up 14 spots, Jake. He'll finish 16th. Jeff Vanderlyn, there in 17th. 18th, Steve Sarles. And James Stone will come up 10 spots and finish 19th. Cedric Krolczyk with trouble there at the end. He'll finish 20th.
And now we hit the vehicles that failed to finish this race. Todd Herner, Martin Blaze in a blaze of glory, shall we say. Barry West in 23rd. Peter Konechny in 24th. Fabian Gerber, Ben Gillet up on his roll bar, shall we say. Todd Broker, Jean-Philippe Bousselin, Kendrick Taylor, and Robert Simpkins round out 30 here today from the circuit of Mosport. But we have a couple of drivers here waiting to talk to us. One of them is a certain race winner called Nuno Moreira. Nuno, it's been a long time since we've seen you up top, but my goodness, did you take the most of it here today?
Hey, Jake. Yep, thank you very much. Yep, I think I had a really comfortable relation with the car, so I wasn't pushing too much, and the laps just went on and on and on and on, and it was good in the end.
Well, the worrying sight for everyone watching is the fact that you didn't push too much, which means that there was certainly more in the tank if you needed it. But let's talk us through the lap traffic that we saw here today, because this circuit is very narrow. One wrong move and you get it wrong. And with lap traffic maybe not being as advanced, shall we say, as yourself, you know, is there a lot of unpredictability in trying to navigate your way through, hoping you catch them in all the right places?
No, not in any way. I actually was not surprised, because the standard of lapped cars is always very, very high, very high in this series, and today was no exception. Everybody behaved just brilliantly. I think it's the good word, and well, the race was perfect. It was just smooth, silky smooth, and everybody is good to receive a great congratulations from me also.
Well, no worries indeed, but you now head yourself, you've used, you could argue, 3 of your drop weeks with retirements during the season. A big win here, you head to Donington Park, very similar in certain respects to how the circuit of Mosport works. So are we looking at Nuno Moreira hitting form at just the right time in the season?
Well, hitting form is in between the top, I would say 7, 8 guys here. I think what the differentiator is the available time that you have to practice in a week. So I was glad that this week I had a little bit more, and I dedicated myself also a bit more. Every evening I did like an hour and a half, and the results come in the weekend. So of course I did a deeper study in the setup, and I tried a new solution here, which was raising the front a little bit to gain for that top speed in the interior straight, and things just worked because of practice time, which is, I think, the only thing that can differentiate the people here.
Well, there certainly is a lot of practice that needs to be done by the drivers at the top, but you are the driver at the top for today. So before we let you go, any shout-outs or sponsors you'd like to thank?
No sponsor, but just a shout out, like every time, to the Lotus community and to the guys that make these races happen. I don't know if you guys seen the 2:30 GMT race. It was like a blast also. So like 3 or 4 guys fighting for the win. So this is just, I don't know, the most. And if you allow me a few more seconds, like the most visceral car in iRacing. I wouldn't be playing this if it wasn't for this car, and maybe the Nissan. So what I say is, and I always insist, is please test the car and see how awesome it is to race it. So thank you very much, guys, for giving this opportunity and also for covering the races.
No worries at all. Apologies for the bottle there down at my feet, but Nuno Moreira there doing a brilliant job winning this event in some massive dominating fashion. 8 seconds over Machias. It doesn't often happen the way that you expect it, but let's get your friend in here, Sean. We got Ben Laughter.
Ben, I have been accused of being on your payroll today, so I'll be happy to give you my address in private chat afterwards for the check. But man, I just saw you make a note there that your goal was to finish in the top 15, starting all the way from the back, getting out of the Camel GT and coming over here. Tell us about how much fun that was for you.
Well, first off, I got to say what a cool community these Lotus guys are. There's quite a bit of overlap in my home of Camel GT, where I race the Audi 90 GTO, to these guys. Quite a few people sort of cross-pollinate between the two. So the racing's respectful and fun, and everybody seems highly competent, and that's always great. This type of racing, being not multi-class and being high downforce, are not native to me. So I'm baby stepping into it, just trying to figure it out and find my style and my rhythm with it. But this car is too much fun to not drive.
Yeah, and so that being said, it was maybe a little bit of a rough start for you, but once you got dialed in and seemed to get into your comfort zone, you were on to racing and picking up spots every couple of laps. What was that like?
Well, yeah. So first off, a blanket apology. I was mid-pack and sort of out of my element, and I swear I heard my spotter turn right, say car right, and I still turned right. So that was a failure completely on my part, whoever I touched there. But, that opens up a new challenge. Now you're 29th out of 30, and you just got to be smart and work your way through traffic and figure out where you're best. And I was finding that I was best coming down turn 4 a lot of times, and I could close up. So you figure out where you've got your strengths, and you capitalize on them as many laps as you can, and just manipulate the situation as much as you can to where you're going to have the run where you need it.
Okay. If you had to pick one major difference between this car and the Audi, what would you say it is?
There's no roof on this. I don't know if you've noticed. No fenders. They forgot to put the fenders on it. No, there's nothing. One of the strengths of iRacing, as compared to so many video games and maybe other sims, is that you can be using the exact same physical equipment in the real world and get out of one car and into another, and they feel entirely different. When I'm driving this car, the same steering wheel and shifter and pedals are in play, but I don't feel like I'm in the same car. And so there's absolutely nothing that's the same about the way you drive these two machines.
Excellent. That's the exact type of answer I was looking for. All right, one last question for you. How much downforce did you have dialed into the car? You don't have to give away the whole shot, but just curious, how much downforce did you have dialed into it?
This week, I think I went to 3.2 on the rear. I think that's what it was, the wing angle. Whereas last week for Summit, I think I was closer to 10. So I'm getting more comfortable.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, congratulations. Good run. We're going to run off and talk to Juha Norlampi. Hopefully we get to see you again next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, Jake, and that was Ben Laughter.
It was like Ben Laughter.
Juha has shown up for an interview.
Well, the preacher has decided to preach a little bit more to the fans. So, Juha, position number 3. Good result for you, seeing how dominant Sergio and also Nuno were here today?
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be at third place. I just couldn't match guys' pace. They were so quick now. I don't know what they have done, but well, I'm glad that only Nuno catch me about 13 points at the championship table, and other rivals were behind of me because Sergio doesn't race CTC Championship Series. So very glad because I still lead 122 points for Nuno. So there is much to do with Nuno, and so little time left.
There is not much time left in the season, just 3 races, but we heard from Nuno Moreira. He decided to raise up his front nose height, so that's something maybe that you can look at. But in terms of you were under a lot of pressure for the majority of the second half of that race with Geno Friche just behind, and well, having arguably the greatest driver to ever step inside of a Lotus 79 behind you, it's always going to be a difficult challenge, but you held him off very well.
Yeah, indeed. 13 times champion. When he is at your rear mirror all the time, then you can't make any mistakes, and cannot never give us up. And well, I luckily had a good pace, and he couldn't catch me only once. He was 0.2 at the end of the straight, and that's not enough. But well, it's quite a boring racing, I think, because it's no technical, not a very technical track, and you just make those corners right, and then there's nothing much to do if no one makes mistakes. But well, that's that kind of a track, and very good racing, I think.
Very good racing, but next week, Donington Park, and a circuit which has a lot of similarities, actually, you could say, to Mosport. So for you, is it going to be a case of trying to just crack the Enigma code and just trying to find maybe that extra 1/10 of a second that brings you right back into it to your main rivals?
Well, it depends on very much how my flu is going to go. I just have this season flu now, and I just couldn't practice so much last week, and yesterday I was feeling very poor, and I think that maybe it's not going to happen today that I can race, but well, I'm quite a good shape now, and I hope that this doesn't make it worse, so I can practice next week some good laps, and well, most of all, I need to do some reasonable race pace and race laps next week, and just make sure that I don't do anything foolish there. I don't care if Nuno or Gernot or Kalle or somebody wins. My goal is to be at third or fourth or fifth even.
The Alain Prost method coming into play for Juha Noralampi. So before we let you go, any shout outs or sponsors?
Well, I want to thank everyone who is supporting me in a way or another, and thanks to God that I'm now very healthy, and I have been able to race and focused every lap. And I want to say hello to Sean. He hasn't been interviewing me for a month, so I don't think I don't know what's going on, Sean. But I love you, buddy.
I love you too, Johan.
Okay, see you guys. Bye bye.
No worries, Juha Noralampi, ever the entertainer, and well,
he misses me, Jake.
I know. I've got to let you. I got to let him talk. I got to let you talk to him from time to time. That's going to be something that has to be arranged for the next few weeks. But as far as this week goes and Mosport, that's probably all that we're going to have time for here this evening, or this afternoon, shall I say, this morning in America, ladies and gentlemen. So it's time that we start offering our thanks to all the drivers, all the teams, and all of you who have been watching the action this afternoon of the CTC, the Classic Teams Championship, for stunning battles and their decision to fly GSRC. Thank yous, of course, also have to go out to the companies, equipment, and software that have been involved or affiliated with this afternoon's broadcast. And we'd also like to thank Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde for the music that you've heard this afternoon. Details on how to contact them are on screen right now. And of course, speaking about contacts, if you are wishing to have your series broadcast, or you just want to find out when the next dose of sim racing action or otherwise is live, pop over to globalsimracingchannel.com or check us up on social media with the Twitter handle @GSR Channel, or catch us up on Facebook as the Global Sim Racing Channel. It's back to Blighty though next week, as the narrow but continental flair of Donington Park will host the 10th round of the season. However, but from this point onwards, it will be about results more than it will be finishes. But as always, that has been Sean Crackers Ambrose, that has been Amjad Yamin, that has also been the man who some say drugged Mario Andretti so he could drive Donald Trump to the White House in an IndyCar. That is Dougie Beard. I have been #BeMyJakeSperry, and well, Nuno Moreira makes his charge. His drop week's coming into play. Now it's time, Mr. Noralampi, to just cut down the deficit. Remember, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.